hoping that there is love in the air today, because the question I want to ask is, do you still love what you loved about your partner, or do you still like what you liked about your partner or your spouse? The reason I ask this question is because a lot of relationships have now found themselves stuck in a rut as of today, alright? And these are not relationships that obviously started out like that. Nowadays people find themselves a bit boring and not engaging enough or whatever. So I'm thinking to myself, what exactly made things change? How did you guys get to the point where you're now stuck in a rut? You're not moving forward, you're not moving backwards, it's just bland. So I'm thinking, when you guys first of all met, depending on how people met or how they started off, like some people didn't actually start off loving each other, you know, they didn't even like each other to start with, they were just friends. And then over time, the feelings start to develop, alright? But also, we have people who say theirs was love at first sight, or they were just really into each other at the beginning, they really fancied each other to start off with. So, and then it kind of went on like that, and things were really nice. They like to spend time with each other. They are on the phone to each other for hours on ending. But now, you can't even speak to your spouse for more than 30 seconds. What happened? How did you find yourselves there? The sort of things they would do before that would make you laugh. Nowadays, it doesn't even make you grin. So most relationships, at the beginning, everything is hot. And I mean hot in the sense of, it's very interesting, it's very engaging, you love spending time with each other, you like being around each other all the time, you can't get enough of each other. And then from there, it starts to kind of dwindle a little bit, and alright, I think I'm beginning to need my space a little bit. I think I can do with a little less of you from time to time. And then from there, it moves to, if it goes unchecked, it moves to, you know what, I can't stand this person. The more time I spend with this person, they're doing my head in. I'm going to spend more time at work just so that I don't come home early. You know, the relationship just dies over time. Even though it hasn't necessarily led to divorce or separation, they're still married, they're still living together, but they're just living like housemates. You guys just need to sit down and take stock of things. How you started, how it started going wrong, and where you are at now. You need to ask yourselves a number of questions just to be able to maybe retrace your steps back and try and maybe ignite things again. Do you still like the same things about the other person? And people, no matter how much you love someone, no matter how much you profess your love for someone, it doesn't mean that things cannot get bland over time. It doesn't mean that things cannot get boring over time. The fact that things have got boring doesn't mean you don't love them anymore or that you hate them. You still love them, but it's just that the fun is no longer in the relationship anymore. And these things happen. It happens even to the best of us. So what we just need to do is to retrace ourselves. Ask yourselves questions. Do you still like the same things about them? You know, what were the things they used to do that used to get you ticking? What were the things they used to say that used to make you giggle or make you laugh and make you feel like a 16-year-old girl or boy? Maybe they no longer do these things, and it's something worth having a conversation about. But at the end of the day, if you guys are living a lifetime together, you need to spice things up. You need to keep it engaging. You need to keep it interesting. Spending a whole lifetime in a boring relationship can take its toll on both parties. So you guys need to make that constant effort to make things, to spice things up. Go down memory lane. How did the relationship start? Where did you guys meet? You know, how did you start the conversation? What attracted you to them? What made you notice them the first time? You know, what really just caught your eye about them? Also, what were the first impressions that you had about them? Maybe that was what really got you ticking, you know, and maybe nowadays you just don't see it in them anymore. Are you happy with the intimacy that you shared? We find that a lot of couples don't even talk about intimacy. Like, they just get down to the act. They don't talk about the things that gets them ticking, the things that they want the other party to do to make their sexual intercourse interesting. They don't talk about this issue. They just keep stumped about it. Couples, you've had kids for each other, you've known each other for years. Why do you not talk about this issue? What is there to be ashamed of? Why do you not talk about these issues with your other half? You know, if there's something about your sex life or your intimacy that you find to be boring, speak to them about it. Maybe they used to do something that you used to like and they no longer do it. Speak to them about it, you know, and find ways to bring it back, find ways to spice things up, find ways to meet each other halfway, whether we like it or not. Intimacy is a very, very important part of every marriage. We can deny it all we want, but it is very important and people need to talk about this. So if your partner needs to do something to spice things up, or maybe they used to do something that you normally like and they no longer do it, you guys need to talk about this. If there's something that they want you to do and maybe you no longer do it, you guys talk about this. Bring the spice back into your intimacy, into your sex life. Do you still feel the same way about your partner as you felt about them at the beginning? This one can be very dangerous, if you don't nip things in the bud and, try and keep a tab on that relationship, do an emotive check of your marriage from time to time. People can easily derail, alright? Feelings can change over time. You guys need to make conscious effort to ask each other, how am I doing? How are we doing? Try and improve in many ways. That's the only way to get things going and interesting. How often do you guys speak on the phone? Do you guys see each other in the morning when you're both going to work and then you don't speak again until you come back home in the evening? What happens to in between? Check up on each other during the day. How's your day going? Are you on break? Or just send a message just to say I love you or I'm thinking about you. Anything just to keep the conversation going. Talk to each other. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you're tired on the phone. What's that? I don't understand it. You need to find interesting conversations to have with your other half. I'm not saying spend hours and hours on the phone like you don't have things to do with your life. That's not what I'm saying. But you need to enjoy conversations with your other half. Do you guys laugh together? Maybe something happens in the course of your day. Does it bring a smile to your face because it reminds you of your other half? Can you recall romantic moments in the marriage? A lot of people are not very romantic. There is no romantic bone in their body. And I quite understand, but again, you need to make effort. I'm not saying you need to be like that every single day. It can be a bit too much sometimes, I know, but at least once in a while, okay? Maybe you guys have romantic dinner out every Friday, depending on how much you guys have to spare. It could be every Friday, it could be once a month, or it could be, I don't know, just make it something that both of you can work with. Romance is very important for a relationship. It's very good. At least women like it. I know men like it too. It doesn't have to always come down to the man being the romantic one. Women also need to initiate some romantic moments with your husbands and just spice things up. Try and build this catalogue of memories of romantic times together. It's very important to know the love language of our spouses. So some people, their love language is buying them flowers. Some people, their love language is spending time together with you. Some people, their love language is, just being able to cuddle and hold you. Or their love language is, you sending them romantic texts and messages. And to some other people, their love language could be you calling them during their break at work, asking how they're doing, checking up on them. And to some people, their love language is having sex. I just really pity their partners. These people, having sex all the time, I don't know how they're going to cope, But it is what it is. Love languages can be anything. Try and know the love language of your spouse. It helps. How often do you say I love you to your other half? There's this story I heard about a man. I don't know if it's a true life story. Someone asked the man that when last did you tell your wife I love you? And he said, I told her I love her on our wedding day, and if that ever changes, I'll let her know. So it means that however many years they've lived together, this man has never, aside from that one time, he never said I love you to his wife. And I feel like that's just wrong. Couples should learn to say I love you to each other every day, not just once a day, as many times as possible during the day. I know that meaning it is very important, but also it helps. It just feels good to hear from your other half that they love you all the time. It helps. It boosts the morale for the marriage, Do you feel jealous when they want to go out and, spend time on their own with their friends? This might be a very contentious one, alright? Yes, they're your spouse. You guys are always together. You guys spend time together always, but sometimes you need to let them have their own space as well. And maybe that has kind of affected the relationship over time because they feel like they're being smothered by you. You don't give them time to just do their own thing. So as much as you want to spend quality time with your spouse all the time, always remember that they still have other people in their lives, like friends, They want to still be able to hang out with their friends. Are you the type that tries to impede that and tries to be in the way of that so that, they never go out? You're always on their case. When they go out, you're always calling them like every 5 minutes. really trying to make sure that you ruin the time out for them. So, that's another area to ask yourself, am I smothering my other half? And maybe you guys never started out like that. Maybe when you guys started, you used to really like them going out and doing their own thing. Not all the time, not excessively, but at least once in a while, they used to be able to hang out with their girlfriends or their guy friends and, just over a drink or just chat, whatever. And nowadays they no longer are able to do that because you've been in the way too much, because you kind of stopped them from doing that. You need to ask yourself this question. Another question is, how do you feel when other people find your spouse attractive? So you guys are going out and heads are turning. How do you feel when people do that? Do you feel good? Do you feel bad? Do you feel jealous? To be honest, if you go out with your spouse and heads are not turning, I don't know what to say to that. There's nothing to be jealous about if people do a double take at your spouse. It just means that your spouse is looking good and they're looking healthy and they're looking beautiful or handsome. You should feel very proud. I want to go out and people are looking at my husband like, wow. It makes me feel good, like I've got the ultimate prize, We could go on and on about a lot of questions that you can ask yourselves to help you retrace your steps back to how things used to be. There's loads of questions. I'm sure when you guys sit down together, you can ask each other a lot of questions. Everyone is different. Every marriage is different. You come up with all sort of, questions for each other, so long as you're able to retrace your steps back to how things used to be, just so that you can get to that point where you can then come up with plans or steps to rekindle things and to spice up the marriage, make it more interesting, make it more engaging. At the end of the day, when we marry, we want to marry for the rest of our lives, but also we don't want to live the rest of our lives in misery. We don't want to live the rest of our lives under the same roof with someone that we no longer have that engagement with, or that we no longer have that chemistry or connection with. Alright? We want it to be the same. I'm not saying that you guys should be as active as you were when you were in your early 20s, now you're in your 60s or whatever. I'm just saying you need to do what you need to do to keep the relationship all spiced up. Alright, so that's it from me today, guys. Let me know what other ideas you have about this topic in the comment section, alright? Guys, enjoy your week and I will see you in my next video. Okay then, bye.